This is me trying to basically make up something so I can put a show out. So what am I going to do? I'm basically going to take a lot of notes of things that, for some reason or another, grab my attention, and I'll put it out there. It may include podcast stuff or may not. Who knows? Right, so I'm behind on all these programs that everybody keeps talking about. Yeah, this is nothing to do with podcasts, but whatever. Star Trek Picard, I'm quite a few episodes into season 2. I've got to the end of the Ocean's 11 style job that they've got on, but it's not ended very well for them, has it? Because, well, they had a Borg involved, so that's not going to work, because we all know, all of us who are Trek fans will know all about the Borg. But quite cool, I suppose. There's something about it, though, I mean, these season-long arcs, I think I've said it somewhere else as well, that, I liked it with Enterprise, Star Trek Enterprise, with the Xindi season, which was fantastic for the most part, although that had some bits that, you could have cut them out of the bloody series. But yeah, sometimes I think stories are stretched out. I mean, this one here, where it's about, going in the past and trying to correct this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. I mean, if it was a Star Trek The Next Generation episode from the 80s, or even any other version of Star Trek pre it coming back, Discovery and all that lot, in the old style of Star Treks, it would have possibly been a 2-parter or maybe a 3 at the most. But stretching it out to like 10 episodes or however many it is, I don't know which episode I'm on. It's just, yeah, and I had the same problem with the first season. That was a slog. It might just be me, but, so, and what else? Yep, finally got round to starting to watch the Book of Boba Fett. I'm about 5 minutes, well, before this shift started that I'm on now, I'm about 5 minutes away from finishing episode 2, which was another heist episode, ironically, where they've got to do a heist on a train going through, Tatooine, and, well, it's not a heist as such. It's just basically to teach all these people a bloody lesson. That, look, this is, the land of the, oh my God, why can't I think of them? The Tusken Raiders, it's their land, so respect them, basically, or don't go through that land. And it reminded me of the episode of Firefly, where they ended up doing an actual robbery on a train on Firefly. The Nathan Fillion, Alan Tudyk, Adam Baldwin, Joel Stade, Marina Baccarin, and all those other people. Oh God, yeah, that series. It reminded me of that episode of that. But yeah, it's going to get somewhere eventually, I'm sure. Yeah? Question mark. Anyway, do you know what? I haven't actually mentioned what's going on here. I'm recording little snippets while I'm out and about because there's a lot of things going on at the moment that have got in the way of me being able to have any shows available. I usually am ahead by a number of episodes. I usually block book loads of episodes. I mean, this recent lot that have come out for this season, they were all recorded within the space of a couple of weeks. But because of problems in my private life and Also, I've been doing form as well, February album writing month, so it's been all about doing that. And not yeah, that's basically all the instruments and everything. They've taken up the space, and I've got a problem with where to put microphone for doing the show, and also where to put the laptop for that matter, because I've got a bloody great big full-size keyboard that takes up the desk that was on. But yeah, so that's what this is. This is me making up something. Yeah, so do I need any for this? Yeah, I'm making up shit to put out there and see how it sticks. Yeah. So, I mean, normally I don't mention about podcasts that I listen to, other than in the recently started Podfiles series. However, I've listened to an episode of Tracing Owls tonight, Saturday night, Sunday morning, and it's been fascinating because there's been a change in the programme itself. Vuk is still the host and the guy behind the show. And for anybody interested in Vuk, I've had him on my show, Pods Like Us, twice already. Once about Darwin's deviations, and then about this show, Tracing Owls, actually. But the show has evolved, Tracing Owls, and it's evolved in a fascinating way. And I'm making a point of this because, I mean, I have listened to a few of these, what Vuk calls roundtable episodes, but after listening to this one, I think I'll just bring it out to the fore, for want of a better phrase, so that people can actually know what's going on. It's fascinating because he's got guests on who aren't, well, they are interested in, supernatural, and all these other things, supernatural, artists who use, digital ways to make art, and then people who do podcasts as well, and all sorts of things. It's an interesting one. It's not like getting people, and just having a general conversation about. It's not like the ordinary run of the mill man on the street, woman on the street, or person on the street, or whatever, or whatever, the ordinary person on the street. It is discussing subjects that aren't discussed, and they are fascinating. I mean, the discussion tonight that I listened to about artificial imaging was absolutely amazing to listen to, and the detail and what they were discussing, they know their shit. Okay. And I just was transfixed by it. I couldn't stop listening. It was absolutely. And then when they went into discussing comics as well, in one bit of it as well, that you're going to get me there anyway with comics, because I read bloody comics as a kid, and I still do read comics. As much as people say people don't buy comics anymore, I do still buy comics. Although that may change to a degree, where I'm thinking of transitioning to getting the books that come out eventually when they collect. So when they do a series of comics, I may really go into doing the book thing, because there's the whole space thing, and there's the whole, you read one comic, then you got another comic, then you got another comic. It's a lot tidier to keep these things like that. But it's fascinating, and the discussions are not run of the mill. They are different, and I think that is good because we need different in the world of podcasting, and this is that. So I also watched a recent video recently from the filmmaker Rachel, who is the creator behind Launder Cat, as the main character is known, and the overall um, creation is, with all those different fantastic characters that Rachel performs herself, and all the animation that she does herself, and the filming and all that, and self promotion here. But I had a fantastic talk with Rachel on Pods Like Us about how she does all the incredible work that she does. Anyway, so this one is, I think it said something about an apology, and it's to, as she calls it, Elizabeth, and you can't see because this is voice, but I was using air quotes there, with a hand that's not, holding the phone. Well, the hand that's not holding the actual steering wheel. The phone's in a holder, of course. Well, it's on a magnetic thing that I've got. Marv, tangents. Get on with it. And it's a fascinating one. I've said before how I like how Rachel touches on subjects that, when she talks about, there's a character that she plays called Cindy, and then she plays the main male character, Lorne, as well. And then there's other characters that she plays. But in all this, there's something, she touches on subjects that, with that one there, she touches on relationships and the differences between male and female, and how they see relationships and sex, dare I say, as well. And in this one, it's touched on, for want of a better phrase, it's touched on something that, yeah, I don't think I've ever known anybody actually do something about it before. But she does it in such a way where it's got that slight element of satire / humour to it, so that it doesn't batter you over the head with these things, or preach as such. And this one is about health, because I've had a problem with this. So she's talking to an hemorrhoid, she says, in the description on there. And I've awful things. I've had hemorrhoids. It's terrible. And it's all about, she's basically saying to it, look, it's because of my lifestyle, how I eat, how I live, and all this, that, and the other. And it's true. But I don't know how I can sort it out in my own thing. But, luckily, a long time since I've had any of that. But it's, yeah. But it's not, it's not educational in the way of, it's like it's not like a flipping teacher with a cane. You don't do canes now, but when I was at school, there was still the cane, and we got punished and all that. It's not like you've got somebody there telling you these things, but at the same time, it's very informative. This is what Rachel does is informative, useful, and I love how she touches these subjects that no one else wants to touch. And there's something about creators that do that is incredible. Like I was saying with a previous bit that I've put on here about the Tracing Owls episodes that Vuk puts out. It's originality, and it's taking something that, to a degree, is already there in the zeitgeist, but they're using that in Vuk's way. They're using the round robin chit chat or chat group type of thing, and touching on subjects that no one else will touch. Here it's touching on subjects that no one will touch, but at the same time, I will say Rachel is incredibly creative, and it's just amazing.